Now we are dealing projectile motion. Okay, we done last class में all two dimension motions का how to apply we understood, right? X direction, y direction, and we also understood that two independence physical two independence dimensions, right? मतलब either you can apply x direction or y direction, though both are independent, right? uh, Now projectile motion, to understand projectile motion, I'll give you one scenario, you tell the answer क्या है होगा. Okay, suppose one vehicle is there. ओके, कार मान लो, कार है. ओके, एक कौन सा कार्टून कार मान लो. ओके, इट इज मूविंग विथ वेलोसिटी यू. नो गाड़ी इधर तक आ गया, ओपन टॉप है. ओके, नो इट इज ऑल्सो मूविंग विथ कौन सा वेलोसिटी यू. नो कार में जूम बोल के जा रहा हूँ, जाने समय आई थ्रो ए बॉल विथ सम वेलोसिटी. एक बॉल को मैं थ्रो किया विथ सम वेलोसिटी यू, और एनी बी से वेलोसिटी से थ्रो किया ऊपर. अंडरस्टैंड क्वेश्चन? सो गाड़ी में जा रहे हैं, यू आर थ्रोइंग, ऊपर तक थ्रो कर दिया बॉल को, ये आगे निकलते जा रहे हैं. नो किधर गिरेगा बॉल? बॉल किधर गिरा? यू इमेजिन हाईवे में फास्ट में जा रहे हैं, जूम बोल के, सपोज मान लो 100 किलोमीटर पर आवर, जूम बोल के यू थ्रो ए बॉल ऊपर, वेयर विल बॉल विल फॉल?
Sir, it will fall behind.
बिहाइंड यू. मानो
Like
प्रणव.
if you throw it up, it'll go back.
ओके, प्रणव.
Sir, behind only.
हाँ,
Behind.
बिहाइंड. ओके, बट आंसर रॉन्ग. आपको सुनने में शॉक लगेगा, बट एग्जैक्टली इधर ही गिरेगा. हाँ, हाउ सर? भाई सर कैसे सर बोले तो देखो, अंडरस्टैंड करो. आपको whenever ये न्यूटन suggested, whenever you are throwing, leaving the object with in the moving object में से, if I leave the object, okay, that body will acquire same velocity as that of car. मूविंग ऑब्जेक्ट का आप कौन सा मतलब कौन सा स्पीड में थ्रो कर रहा हूं, तो कौन देखो सपोज यू आर गोइंग विद 20 मीटर्स पर सेकंड. ओके, इफ यू लीव द ऑब्जेक्ट, दैट ऑब्जेक्ट आल्सो विल मूव विद 20 मीटर्स पर सेकंड. साथ साथ में आएगा. ओके, सो एग्जैक्टली इट विल फॉल. वी आर नेग्लेक्टिंग एयर रेसिस्टेंस. एयर इज नॉट देयर. ओके, यू इमेजिन सपोज यू आर गोइंग इन ए ट्रेन. ट्रेन में सपोज यू आर थ्रोइंग एनी ऑब्जेक्ट, that object should fall backside of the cabin, right? Whether you are falling in your hands or you're going with the it is going to the back of the cabin. Tell me, in train में कभी गया? ट्रेन मालूम है ना कृष्णा, बड़ा होगा, लंबा होगा, मालूम है ना? उसमें सपोज यू थ्रो एनी बॉल इनसाइड मूविंग ट्रेन में, द बॉल एग्जैक्टली हाथ में गिरेगा. Why? What is the condition? What he told? Newton suggested that whenever train is moving with some velocity, right? When you leave an object, the ball also will acquire the same velocity of that of moving object. That's why आप भी जाएगा, वो बॉल भी आपके साथ ही आएगा, नीचे गिरेगा. That means I can tell that horizontal acceleration is 0. मतलब horizontally there is no acceleration. That's why उसका speed is remains constant. U will be remains constant. मतलब इधर भी U आएगा. Speed remains constant in the horizontal direction. In projectile motion में very important point, horizontal acceleration is 0. Horizontal acceleration is 0. Okay. Now one more question. Okay. एक एरोप्लेन है. Now you will understand. Okay. Now it is moving with velocity u. Constant velocity से जा रहा है एरोप्लेन, ऊपर है. ओके, एक ग्राउंड है, इधर से फूड पैकेट ड्रॉप किया. फूड पैकेट आई ड्रॉप्ड. कैन टेल मी किधर गिरेगा? फूड पैकेट ड्रॉप्ड, किधर गिरेगा? ऐसे ड्रॉप क्या? चल पाथ क्या है? जुम बोल के गिरेगा और जुम बोल के गिरेगा, क्या कैसे है?
So like when you throw a box,
हाँ, फूड पैकेट ड्रॉप किया जुम बोल के. हाँ, किधर गिरेगा, कैसा पाथ है इसका?
So what are the points of other plane?
अदर प्लेन पॉइंट्स वो जा रहे हैं, एरोप्लेन गाड़ी में झूम बोल के जा रहे हैं. हाँ, देन यू ड्रॉप एन ऑब्जेक्ट किधर, व्हाट इज द पाथ ऑफ द फूड पैकेट?
Like a straight line going down.
हाँ, यू टेल मी कृष्णा. बोलो.
Sir, it will go back.
बैक. ओके, यू टेल मी प्रणव.
Oh, I'll go straight down.
स्ट्रेट डाउन ना,
Down, down.
डाउन ऐसे जाएगा. बट आंसर रॉन्ग. अंडरस्टैंड, फिजिक्स अंडरस्टैंड करो. आई टोल्ड जस्ट नो,
Sir,
when
it
you
won't go
drop
front.
an object, when you drop an object, इस ऑब्जेक्ट का वेलोसिटी कितना होगा? u आएगा. मूविंग ऑब्जेक्ट से जो भी ड्रॉप किया उसका वेलोसिटी विल बी सेम एज दैट ऑफ मूविंग ऑब्जेक्ट. तो क्या होगा, ये नीचे एग्जैक्टली ऐसा रहेगा. ये नीचे बिकॉज ऑफ एक्सेलरेशन ड्यू टू ग्रेविटी इज एक्टिंग डाउनवर्ड्स, थोड़ा थोड़ा नीचे आता जाएगा. बट आपको एरोप्लेन के साथ साथ ही आएगा, एरोप्लेन का साथ साथ ही आएगा. मतलब द पर्सन is standing on the ground, he will see the path is like this. Okay, ये नीचे नहीं आएगा. समझ में आ रहा है? So understand करो. That means here horizontal इसका velocity is u only. इधर velocity is u, इधर velocity is u. मतलब I can tell that horizontal acceleration is 0. That's what I want. This example is because this conclusion के लिए. Horizontal acceleration in a projectile motion, in a motion में it is 0. Only vertical acceleration is acting. G is acting downwards. G is acting downwards. Very important. Okay. So from this you have to understand very carefully that horizontal acceleration is 0. It should be very clear. Numericals में don't use acceleration ax from G or something. G is acting downwards only. Now we'll start the projectile motion. Projectile क्या है, कैसा है बोल के. Answered? Copied, right?
Sir, 1 second.
Next one.
Sir, 1 second.
1 second ना करो. No, aeroplane windows वो सब ड्रॉ कर रहे क्या? Windows, passengers. हाँ करो. Okay. चलो. Now we entered into the projectile motion. देखो I showing this one only. इधर से मैं ग्राउंड से देखने से यू विल फील द पाथ इज लाइक दिस. बट एरोप्लेन से देखने से मैं ऊपर ही खड़ा हूं, देखो बॉक्स मेरे साथ साथ ही गिरेगा. यू फील दैट यू आर गोइंग डाउनवर्ड्स. सो ऑब्जर्वर के साथ पाथ विल चेंज, राइट? व्हेन यू आर स्टैंडिंग ऑन द ग्राउंड यू फील दैट पाथ इज लाइक दिस. व्हेन यू आर इनसाइड द एरोप्लेन ओनली, इफ यू ड्रॉप एन ऑब्जेक्ट you feel it is going straight only because the box का velocity is same as that of aeroplane. Right? Understood? ओ वाला समझो, because horizontal acceleration is 0. Okay, now we'll see the projectile motion क्या है. So according to you, what is projectile motion? Projectile motion बोलते क्या है?
So the
Object falling
previous was
horizontally.
not under projectile motion.
These all are projectile motion start होने से पहले थोड़ा introduction दिया मैं, that's it. But projectile motion meaning क्या है exactly?
So like when an object is thrown from the air.
So object
Or-
rolling there and falling horizontally.
Anything. See, horizontal ऐसा नहीं है. देखो, object which is thrown in space and falls under the action of gravity alone is called projectile motion. Even you are throwing upwards is also projectile motion only. Even you are throwing like this, catches खेलते हैं ना, ball खेलते हैं ना ऐसा, that is also projectile motion only. Because when you leave the object, only one acceleration is acting, which is downwards on the object. That is called projectile motion. Okay. And the path followed by projectile is called trajectory. So whenever they ask what is trajectory means, you have the path followed by the projectile motion. So see, Suppose you're throwing an object, वो path cover कर रहा है ना, that is the trajectory. That path is called trajectory. नोट्स अच्छे से लिखो, अच्छे से प्रैक्टिस करो. Done? Yes. Next. Now we have assumptions of projectile motion. Projectile motion true होने के लिए some assumptions we have to total problems में we have to use these assumptions. क्या है? There is no air resistance. There is no resistance due to air. Okay. So total projectile motion में पूरा तूफान आ रहा है. So तूफान आने से हमें बॉल थ्रो किया तो पीछे आएगा. So that one is not considered, right? And दूसरा, for all points of the trajectory, the acceleration due to gravity g is constant in magnitude and direction. So g is, suppose you are throwing an object, ऐसा throw कर रहा है तो जाएगा. So g every point में is acceleration is acting downwards only. G is always acting downwards only. Okay, that's why magnitude wise is same, 9.8 meters per second square, and direction also same. There is no horizontal acceleration, right? This is the things, two assumptions we have to know in projectile motion. नया कॉन्सेप्ट नहीं है, कुछ नहीं है, 2 dimension wise, right? So we have to apply separately equations of motion and we have to solve this. Okay, finished. Now, types of projectile motion.
So can I go back for 1 second? Constant mark. Yeah, sir, you can go to the next one.
Now, types of projectile motion. You know already types का कौन सा types है? One is oblique projectile motion, horizontal projectile motion, projectile motion from a height at certain angle. Building में से ऐसा certain angle में से throw करूंगा. ये वाला ground वाला, ये वाला from some height. And inclined projectile motion. These are the 4 projectile motions. ये 4 projectile motion किया तो पूरा मतलब टॉपिक मैक्सिमम 99% डन चैप्टर. एक बाकी है रिलेटिव वेलोसिटी बाकी रहेगा, वो हो गया तो चैप्टर में डन. ओके, सो नाउ इसमें से बहुत सारा क्वेश्चंस, ज्यादा वाला क्वेश्चंस कौन सा आने वाला है? ऑब्लिक projectile मोशन ओनली आने वाला है आपको एग्जाम में. इवन आईपी एग्जाम्स में आल्सो डेरिवेशंस इसमें आएगा. ओके, ऑब्लिक projectile मोशंस में आएगा. ओके, इसमें थोड़ा लेस है बट इसमें ज्यादा क्वेश्चंस करने वाला है. तो बेटा, now first one we are going for the oblique projectile motion. Okay, oblique means, what is meaning of oblique projectile motion means certain angle say you are throwing from ground to ground. See, oblique projectile motion is nothing but where to where, ground to ground only, ground to ground motion. देखो इसको एनालिसिस करेंगे क्या होगा. देखो, this is the one you understand. Okay, I am seeing the x axis and y axis. I am throwing a ball like catches खेलते हैं ना, ऐसा we are throwing a ball. इसका velocity मान लो u. U is the velocity of the ball I am throwing. And here with an angle theta, with an angle theta. And theta is called as angle of projection. लिखो, theta is called angle of projection. Okay, I am throwing from ground to ground. The ground से start हुआ, again falling on the ground. That is a oblique projectile motion. Okay, now इसका components निकालो. U का, what is the component of U along x direction? Tell me. Vectors हो गया ना?
U cos theta.
U cos theta. Wherever theta is there, उस तरफ cos आएगा. U cos theta. And उसका exactly perpendicular component will be in the opposite way में U sin theta. Right? So initial one, because 2-dimensional है ना, those separate dimensions we are seeing always. Okay. Now, you tell me, U cos theta, horizontal, vertical velocity क्या होगा? When you go from here to here and here to here, vertical velocity, what will happen? Because G is acting in the downward direction, what will happen to the vertical velocity? Speed will decrease, decrease, and finally it becomes 0. Again, when it's falling from here, increase, increase, increase होगा. Right? Vertical velocity is changing. Kaisa? First decreases, 0, and again increases. Coming to the horizontal velocity, tell me, any acceleration is acting in the horizontal direction? Mein? Any acceleration? No. That's why the given examples. Okay. No horizontal acceleration is acting. That's why every step mein, it is U cos theta only. That is very important thing. U cos theta. U cos theta. U cos theta. मरने तक, नीचे गिरने तक U cos theta only. Whatever the value here is x direction में, same velocity will be there total नीचे गिरने तक. Horizontal velocity will be same. Okay. But vertical direction, vertical velocity will goes on decreasing because acceleration due to gravity is acting downwards. वो खींच लेगा. Okay. Now a question में sometimes they will ask, what is, at maximum height, what is the speed of the object? Tell me. At maximum height, what is the speed of the object? Tell me. At maximum height, what is the speed of the object? Krishna बोलो.
Sir, 0.
0 नहीं है. U cos theta. Speed 0. Speed 0 नहीं है. Okay, U cos theta. That's why you know, अगर 0 हुआ तो उधर रुक जाएगा. मैं बॉल थ्रो करूंगा उधर रुक जाएगा. फिर से रॉकेट पकड़ के लेके आने का. Some velocity is there. That's why it is falling, right? Horizontal velocity only present.
A ball, what they throw.
Ball.
The figure.
ये ball, rugby ball कुछ भी होना. Okay. So ball को throw किया. ये ऐसा करके इधर तक आ रहा है. Okay. So U cos theta will be there completely object के ऊपर. But U sin theta will be decreasing, decreasing, decreasing every time. तो डायग्राम समझो, प्रॉपर वे में क्वेश्चंस कुछ भी कर सकते हैं आप.
So the U remains constant.
हाँ, U cos theta remains constant. U sin theta will be decreasing 0 and finally it increasing to maximum value.
Sir, why is U sin theta decreasing?
Because acceleration due to gravity is acting downwards. उसको क्या करेगा? नीचे खींचेगा ना. वो even if you throw an object ऊपर with some velocity, different decreases, right? Because of acceleration. I say decrease होगा, decrease होगा, decrease होगा. Because we are seeing two different dimensions. Check करो, x direction, y direction. Y direction velocity goes on decreasing. And इधर एक अच्छा सा point है. Whatever you are throwing with certain angle theta, same angle theta में नीचे गिरेगा. Same horizontal level में, same angle में गिरेगा. And दूसरा, whatever your velocity is throwing, उसका component जो भी है, उसका same रहेगा. U cos theta and U sin theta. U sin theta will be in opposite direction here. Okay, same. मतलब here velocity will be U. There is a symmetry. Like one dimension also we thought, right? ऊपर whatever the velocity you are throwing, the same velocity will fall in the same horizontal line में. Same thing here also. Whatever velocity you are throwing, the same velocities will be there and same velocity will be falling here. Theta. And whether theta will be same everywhere here, tell me. Whether theta will be same or changing? Other than
Same.
initial position.
It should be the same only.
No. Theta will be changing. Why? Vector में if you see carefully, ये कम है, ज्यादा है. Vector कैसा रहेगा tell me? ये कम है, ये ज्यादा है. So vector will be like this initially. बाद में क्या और भी कम हो गया. Now less है, ये तो same है. So vector किस तरफ है? Resultant will be towards like this, towards the bigger one. So angle is changing. Either angle is changing always. So this inclination will change. Either alpha ले लो, either beta ले लो, either gamma ले लो, कुछ भी. Okay. So it is changing everywhere. Inclination is changing everywhere. But initial and final angle will be the same. initial and final angle will be same. Okay, that's why देखो, the vertical motion of the ball, the acceleration due to gravity is causing the ball slow down as it goes up. As it goes up, it's becoming slow, and ये वाला speed up as it comes down. Speed बढ़ता जाएगा. देखो वेक्टर में small, ये बड़ा और भी बड़ा. प्रोजेक्टाइल मोशन समझ में आने के लिए ये सब कुछ वेलोसिटीज, ये एक्सेलरेशन कौन सा है, एवरीथिंग यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड. And here I wrote, there is no force in the x direction, so there is no acceleration. Horizontal acceleration is 0.
Sir, if theta is not the same, then how is u cos theta constant?
See, u cos theta is constant because there is no acceleration in the horizontal direction. When there is no acceleration, velocity is constant, right?
Yeah.
Then only acceleration, right? So that's why u cos theta, u cos theta, u cos theta same. But ये वाला vertical velocity से change होने के वजह से inclination is changing, right? Vector में आपको दोनों exactly same magnitude है तो exactly center में आएगा.
Does
अगर
theta
एक बड़ा
increase
है,
or decrease?
हाँ,
Does theta increase or decrease?
इधर क्या होगा? Definitely ये वाला क्या होगा? Tell me, you will tell me. ये पहले वाला बड़ा है, बाद में थोड़ा कम है, बाद में कम है, तो
Decreases.
decreases. With the horizontal decreases. Oblique projectile motion, this is ground to ground motion. Okay, done. Okay, copy, right? Now we will write this in x direction and y direction में split up करेंगे so that I can apply equation of motion. Okay, tell me ux initial velocity in x direction is how much according to diagram? कितना था? X direction में initial velocity is how much? हाँ, x direction में initial velocity is how much? u cos theta, u sin theta.
u cos theta.
हाँ, u cos theta. Diagram देखते जाओ. u cos theta. And similarly, y direction में initial velocity is how much?
u sin theta.
Sin theta. X direction में acceleration, कृषा बोलो. X direction में acceleration is how much?
Sir,
X direction में acceleration is how much?
sir, 0.
0. Very good. And y direction में acceleration is? Anybody?
Minus g.
Very good. Minus g लगाने का, not g. Okay. Now coming to the velocity in x direction. मतलब v I am taking final velocity. You know, velocity, since there is no acceleration, velocity is constant completely. So it is u cos theta.
u cos theta.
Okay. Now anybody tell vy is how much? मतलब after time t.
Minus u sin theta.
Huh?
Minus u sin theta.
नहीं. I want final velocity at any point on t. Any point time ने, what is the velocity? Use the equation of motion.
Will be minus u cos theta.
Minus u cos theta, no, cos theta नहीं है असल इधर. Y direction में देखो, y direction में only sin theta is there. Which equation of motion will apply? In time t में.
v equal to u plus at.
लगो. So u is how much?
U sin theta minus gt.
Very good. U sin theta minus gt. ये फॉर्मूला भी लर्न कर लो, मजा आने वाला है. You know, आपको हर ट्रैजेक्टरी में I want to find by means we can find by using this one u sin theta minus gt directly. Again apply equation of motion से अच्छा ये याद रखो थोड़ा, some points याद रखो हो जाएगा. u sin theta minus gt is the formula. Any point on the trajectory में we can find vy by using this formula. Okay.
Sir,
Tell me.
sir, t is the total time taken, no?
No. If I tell after 3 seconds के बाद what is the velocity, final velocity
Okay.
means you tell ऐसा. Then ये वाला we are splitting into 2 dimension so that आपको equations of motion questions करने समय आपको separately if suppose if they tell after 3 seconds के बाद what is the velocity means which velocity you will find, दोनों velocity you have to find. vx भी फाइंड करने का, vy भी फाइंड करने का, i कैप लगाओ, j कैप लगाओ, उसका मैग्नीट्यूड वी कैन फाइंड अंडर रूट बोल के, ऐसा करने का. Any point of time, simply will tell find the velocity. He will not mention that use x direction velocity, y direction velocity. ऐसा नहीं. He will tell find velocity means you have to find both. Okay, every point of time. Okay, if maximum height में find velocity means directly you send it, you cos theta is the answer, right? Because maximum height में vertical velocity is 0. That's why ऊपर नहीं जाएगा, नीचे आ जाएगा, right? Ball का. Now we will see various parameters in projectile motion. उसका projectile motion में क्या क्या parameters है. Okay, so first one is time of flight. ये derivations आपको एग्जाम में आएगा. Time of flight. Okay, लिखो what is time of flight, we represent as t. ये वाला क्या है, टोटल टाइम टेकन. अगर मैं बॉल थ्रो करूंगा ग्राउंड से, अगेन नीचे गिरेगा विथ 5 सेकंड्स, सो टाइम ऑफ फ्लाइट इज 5 सेकंड्स. वही टाइम ऑफ फ्लाइट. ओके, सो व्हाट इज टाइम ऑफ फ्लाइट. सो ये पैरामीटर्स देखो, डिफरेंशियल्स देखेंगे एक एक. दिस 3 पैरामीटर्स वी आर स्टडीइंग नाउ. कौन सा, टाइम ऑफ फ्लाइट, मैक्सिमम हाइट, हॉरिजॉन्टल रेंज. दिस 3 पैरामीटर्स वी आर स्टडीइंग. ओके, सो फर्स्ट वन ले लो, टाइम ऑफ फ्लाइट का. टाइम ऑफ फ्लाइट डिफरेंशियल लिखो. The time taken by the projectile to go up and come down is the same level from which it was projected is called time of flight. देखो, now इसका एक एक का डेरिवेशन, इसका फॉर्मूला आने वाला है पूरा. ओके, हाँ, time taken, understood. Time of flight means the total time taken to go up and come down in the same level, that is called time of flight. Okay, time of flight में total time find करने के लिए I told you it is physically independence of motion, right? Either you can find x direction का time or y direction का time, दोनों same time, right? दोनों same, right? We studied last class, right? Any time if you drop and same instant if you throw also, the same time it will take to drop, right? So मैं क्या करूंगा, y direction ले रहा हूँ, y direction we are taking. Y direction motion we have to consider because only one direction we can consider. Okay, y direction motion में tell me uy is how much? Always remember the starting diagram. Uy is how much? U
sin theta.
U sin theta. And ay is minus g.
Minus g.
And time we have to find capital T. This is the time. And can you tell me sy is how much? Displacement in y direction in this motion, in this type of motion में इधर से बॉल गिरा, गया इधर से गिर जाएगा, right? Tell me displacement in y direction is how much? Displacement in y direction. देखो, कृष्ण बोलो. Displacement y direction. Initial point is here है, वो गया, final point is 0. Okay, कितना आएगा? So total displacement in x direction is this one only. Total object is doing only in x direction, not y direction, right? So displacement y direction is how much? 0. Now apply equation of motion to find t and tell the formula. Use the equation of motion and find t. Which equation of motion you will apply? S equal to ut plus half at square. Since you are applying y direction, ऐसा आल्ट करो sy, uy, ay, right? We are applying in y direction. Now substitute. Tell the answer. Time of flight find करो. Y direction we are considering and we are using whatever the known values and we are using the equation of motion. So sy is 0, uy is u sin theta into capital T, ay is minus g, right? So minus half g t square.
Sir, 2u sin theta by g.
Yes. So t common लिया तो t will be gone. So क्या बचेगा? इधर आए तो minus u sin theta is equal to minus half gt. So minus minus cancel. So कितना होगा? So t is equal to 2u sin theta by g. This is the formula for time of flight. ये formula बैड करने का. 2u sin theta by g is the formula for time of flight.
Sir, if we use the formula sy is equal to half into uy plus vy into t, will we get the same answer?
What?
Sir, if you use the formula sy is equal to half into initial velocity of u of y plus final velocity in y direction into time, will we get the same answer?
Yes, but we don't know final velocity वगैरह, right? वो सॉल्व किया तो numbers दिया तो same आंसर आएगा. Okay, but here we don't know what are the given parameters we are doing. That's why 2u sin theta by g is the formula. Okay, if you remember, this formula is matching with the one dimension. Tell me, याद है? Suppose you are throwing an object. What is the maximum height reach होने के लिए time taken?
U square by 2g.
No, time taken. That is maximum height you're telling.
Oh, damn it.
Sir, under root 2h by g.
That is ऊपर से drop करने टाइम में. मैं नीचे से ग्राउंड में हूँ, ऊपर नहीं गया. नीचे से मैं
2h
throwing
by
with
g.
my
2h by g.
I told time of ascent, time of descent, same है.
root 2h by g.
ऐसे. That is what
UGH.
UGH हाँ. जी.
Root UGH.
Root 2GH हाँ. Super यार. Suppose you are throwing with velocity u. What is the time taken to reach maximum height? Time of ascent is equal to time of descent बोल के बोला.
U by g.
U by g. That 4 formulas तो पक्का बाहर करने का. 4 formulas तो kinematics में. Okay. So देखो time taken to go up and time taken to go दोनों ऐड किया था करने से 2u by g. This is the formula, right? Time of flight in one dimension motion में. But since y direction, use this one uy. ये याद रखो. 2uy by g. देखो if you see what is uy in this case में u sin theta लगा तो this one answer. Sometimes they will not give theta. That time what is the time of flight means 2u y by g. Y का velocity जो है वो use करो. Directly आ जाएगा. Okay. So this is one dimension motion में. And this is in suppose angle में throw करने से 2 dimension में we can use. Remember करने के लिए I'm telling you, relate कर रहा हूँ. Okay. 1 dimension, 2 dimension. Okay. आ गया? Time of flight done, right? Okay. Now time of flight में some cases are there. You have to understand. Time of flight में क्या क्या है? Copy it here. Okay. 2u sin theta by g is the formula. That's why formula sheet एक बार print out लेके by heart करो. Kinematics also है given, right? So formulas पूरा रहेगा. Okay. Some important points note करो. For complementary angles of projection, complementary means you know, right? And some is 90. So one angle is theta, other angle is with 90 minus theta. Can you find the ratio of time of flight? Find करो. कितना आएगा? T1 by T2 I want. T1 by T2. One I am throwing with theta, other one I am throwing with 90 minus theta. Use the formula 2u sin theta by theta के जगह में 90 minus theta लगा के tell the answer. T1 by T2 is how much?
Want to get tan theta?
Yes. Yes, tan theta आएगा. देखो 2u sin theta by g by इसका कॉम्प्लीमेंट आएंगे 2u sin 90 minus theta by g, right? So sin 90 minus theta is how much? Sin 90 minus theta is cos theta, right? Cos theta. Sin theta by cos theta is how much? Tan theta. So याद रखो. This some cases में आपको आएगा. लिखो. T1 by T2 is tan theta. फिनिश. सो कॉम्प्लीमेंट्री एंगल्स वाला सभी में आएगा, सभी में रेंज में भी आएगा एंड एनी अदर केसेस आल्सो. कॉम्प्लीमेंट्री एंगल्स वाला वेरी फेमस वाला मैक्सिमम हाइट में भी आएगा, राइट? हाँ चलो हो गया. और सेकंड वन सपोज मान लो ये देखो अंदर ये ऑब्लिक प्रोजेक्टाइल मोशन वाला, आई एम थ्रोइंग द ऑब्जेक्ट ऊपर तक मैक्सिमम गया, इधर तक गया, राइट? इन दिस में आई वांट टू फाइंड आफ्टर सर्टेन टाइम के बाद बॉल केम इधर, इट हैज कवर्ड एक्स एंड वाई. ओके, आई वांट कितना हाइट में है आफ्टर टाइम, आफ्टर सर्टेन टाइम के बाद व्हाट इज द हाइट द बॉल वाज बोल पूछेगा समटाइम्स. ओके, इट इज नॉट मैक्सिमम हाइट, एनी हाइट इट कैन बी. सो मान लो इधर से इधर तक कितना टाइम लगा, t1 टाइम लगा. ओके, एंड इधर से इधर तक कितना टाइम लगा, t2 टाइम लगा. right? Now tell me, what is how to find T1? T1 is how much? T2 is how much? Tell me. T1 plus T2 is how much? Formula. T1 plus T2 is called as what? T1 plus T2 is called as
total time.
टोटल टाइम. टोटल टाइम को क्या बोलते हैं हमारा लैंग्वेज में, ऑब्लिक पोर्टल मोशन में? टाइम ऑफ फ्लाइट. टाइम ऑफ फ्लाइट. एंड फार्मूला क्या है? 2u
2u sin theta by
sin
g.
theta by g. See, our interest is to calculate h. H equal to how much? They'll give this time, they will give, and they will give this time also. Okay, that time they will tell to find what is the h, height of the particle from the ground se kitna height mein. It can be any time, any place mein. Okay, so that's why we are trying to find. Okay, from this, what is u sin theta? U sin theta is equal to g into t1 plus t2 by 2, right? First equation. Okay, now in time t1 mein, if I use y direction ka, which equation of motion will use? Tell me. In time t1 mein, I want to find, I'm using y direction ka. Y direction ka, tell me what are the things we know? U, y is u sin theta, because I am throwing with velocity u. U sin theta. Ay is minus g, and sy you have to find, and time t1 mein. So what is the equation motion we will use? S equal to ut plus half at square. I want y direction time t1 ay, right? Now tell me, sy is nothing but displacement in y direction is how much? H is equal to uy. Uy is how much? Initial velocity in y direction is how much? Tell me. U sin theta into t1 minus half g t1 square, right? Now देखो, u sin theta के जगह में हम सब्स्टिट्यूट दिस वन, u sin theta के जगह में हम सब्स्टिट्यूट दिस वन. ओके, सो कितना होगा? h is equal to g into t1 plus t2 by 2 into t1 minus half g t1 square, right? now सॉल्व करो, कितना आएगा? h वैल्यू कितना आएगा इन टर्म्स ऑफ t1 t2 में? आएगा, करो ये, मल्टीप्लाई करो, t1 मल्टीप्लाई करो तो कितना होगा? हाफ जी t1 स्क्वायर बाय 2 माइनस हाफ जी t1 स्क्वायर बाय 2 कैंसिल, राइट? नो क्या बचेगा? h इक्वल टू हाफ जी t1 t2. समटाइम्स दे विल आस्क लाइक दिस, h पूछे तो हाफ जी t1 t2 और g t1 t2 by 2. so h equal to g t1 t2 by 2 is the height from the ground. okay, so some question में कंफ्यूज नहीं होगा दैट मेरे क्या है बोल के. हाइट पूछे हो तो यू कैन यूज द इक्वेशन ऑफ मोशन, टू फॉर्मुलास. अदरवाइज सेपरेटली इक्वेशन ऑफ मोशन यूज करके सॉल्व कर सकते हैं. मेथड समझो, दैट्स इट. ओके, लिखो.
So is it the question or is it a formula?
नहीं, क्वेश्चन ओनली. एच वाला, बट याद रखो t1 t2 वाला स्टैंडर्ड क्वेश्चन समटाइम दे विल गिव.
Now, how do I draw this figure?
नहीं नहीं, नॉर्मल रखो ऐसा वाला. ये हाइट चाहिए.
So what are T1 and T2? Time of ascent and descent.
नहीं नहीं, t1 is the time taken to reach the object to here, and t2 is from p to ground तक कितना टाइम लगा वो वाला.
Oh. So like if they give specific time and they give the time taken to reach it, they have to use this formula.
yes. टोटल हाइट भी पूछेगा उसमें, यू कैन डायरेक्टली यूज हाफ लाइक g t1 t2 by 2. कॉपी ना.
So 1 second.
3 पैरामीटर्स करने के बाद पूरा क्वेश्चंस पूरा भर भर के आएगा क्वेश्चंस आपको थिंकिंग करने का। मेनी जेई मेंस क्वेश्चंस आल्सो आई विल गिव, हो जाएगा।
Yes, I wrote.
Is writing. Okay, Krisha?
Yes, sir.
Chalo. Now, second one is maximum height. Second variable we are studying in oblique projectile motion is maximum height. Okay. Maximum height, you know already. It is a maximum height from the point of projection a projectile can reach. Matlab, we are talking about a projectile motion mein, this height is nothing but maximum height, h max. Now, we have to use equation of motion and we have to solve that shit. Maximum height find करने के लिए उसका formula क्या है देखेंगे. Okay. Tell me which direction will take, y direction will, we know, right? Y direction will take. Maximum height में always will take y direction. Okay. Y direction we are taking. Now tell me what are things you know. U y is u sin eta. A y is minus g. Okay. Tell me v y is how much? At the maximum height में what is the vertical velocity is how much? How much? Maximum height में vertical velocity. Particle के पास दो velocity है ना? Is there vertical velocity is 0. Right? That's why we are putting 0 vertical velocity. So now find sy. Sy equal to h max, right? H max find करो. Which equation of motion without time वाला which equation of motion? We know, right? What is that formula? V square is equal to u square
Sir,
plus
is v
2a.
by 0?
What? At
So
maximum height में what is the vertical velocity? Vertical velocity is 0, right? I told you vertical velocity क्या होगा? Decrease and finally zeros again increases.
Okay.
Right? Because of accelerated gravity. So vertical velocity is 0. So sy we have to find. Apply equation of motion. Y direction. So 0 is equal to u square sin square theta. Ay is minus 0, right? So minus 2g h max. So either I thought minus cancel. So h max is equal to u square sin square theta by 2g. This is the formula for h max. U square sin square theta by 2g.
Sir, I still don't understand why y is 0.
देखो in projectile motion में vertical velocity, to comment on vertical velocity, every object में we have vertical velocity and horizontal velocity, right?
Yeah.
Vertical velocity will decrease or increase?
Decrease.
Decrease करके इधर तक क्या होगा maximum height में?
Oh.
0, that's why 0. उसके बाद again increases.
Yes, sir, understand. That understand.
Now relate with one dimension. One dimension याद है? One more formula I asked. Suppose you are throwing from the ground से ऊपर with velocity u. What is the maximum height formula? You are throwing an object with velocity u.
U square by 2g.
So देखो h max in the one dimensional motion में u square by 2g, but in two dimension में we are taking u y square by 2g, and u y is nothing but u sin eta. U sin eta whole square is u square sin square eta. Just relate करो. देखो one dimension में and two dimension में we are applying. So u y square by 2g. वो याद रहेगा तो you can derive from here से ये formula. Okay. No. Understood? ये वाला.
So is it uy whole square?
uy square is nothing but एक ही है ना, एक ही वेरिएबल है ना, होल स्क्वायर ओनली इनडायरेक्टली मीनिंग. So uy is u sin eta whole square is u
Yeah,
square
that's
sin
what
square
I'm
eta by 2g. Okay, चलो. Now some important points learn करेंगे इसका maximum height का. Now tell me for complementary angles theta and 90 minus theta ratio of maximum height find करके बोलो कितना आएगा ratio of maximum height.
tan square theta.
tan square theta. पहले वाला tan eta टाइम ऑफ फ्लाइट का रेशियो, ये वाला कितना होगा h1 by h2 is if I use the formula में theta and sin 90 minus theta लगाए तो if you solve you get tan square theta. So you not understand. Copy it. Now next question without copying आंसर बोलने का. ये हो गया. Who will tell first? We'll see. Now formula आपको लर्न करना पड़ेगा. टाइम ऑफ फ्लाइट का फॉर्मूला याद हो गया? Tell me time of flight का फॉर्मूला is
2u sin theta by
u
g.
sin theta by g.
okay, and maximum height का फॉर्मूला is
U square sin square theta by g.
theta by
By
g.
u square sin square theta by 2g. Okay. Okay. Now you have to understand one question का. Okay, चलो हो गया. Now who will do first? And time meaning भी समझ में आया. Time of flight means the total time taken to from ground to ground. Maximum height means from a maximum height central से ground से वाला maximum height, right? चलो एक क्वेश्चन करो. पार्ट 1 एंड पार्ट 2 में कंपैरिजन में टाइम ऑफ फ्लाइट किस में ज्यादा है? Who will tell first? Path 1 and part 2 में time of flight is more in which case? Time of flight means the total time taken from ground to ground. कितना time में लगा?
So the first one.
Why? First one? क्यों अच्छा लग रहा है first one?
No, sir, because theta angle is more, so it will be more.
Theta angle दिखा है क्या? ऐसा कुछ नहीं.
Sir, it is more.
मतलब velocity भी change कर सकते हैं ना? तो क्या होगा? Velocity it can be theta 1, theta 2, right? Different angle. u1, u2.
So can't we just tell by looking at the graph that since towards the longer curve it will have more flight, time of flight?
Okay.
So I'm saying equal.
Why equal?
No, sir. In these type of cases, mostly the answer is equal. That's why.
मतलब कैसे इक्वल अंटा देखो कॉन्सेप्ट के साथ चाहिए.
So because
देखो.
both of them are starting from the same point, and
हाँ.
then since the h max is also the same, then gravity will be constant, so magnitude will be the same only.
देखो अंडरस्टैंड करो. इसमें वन फिजिकल क्वांटिटी सेम टाइम ऑफ फ्लाइट है मैक्सिमम हाइट है बाय सीइंग द डायग्राम.
Maximum height.
Maximum height.
वो आइडेंटिफाई करो, वो इक्वेट करो. सो मैक्सिमम हाइट ऑफ वन is equal to maximum height of second. Okay, and what is the formula for maximum height का formula? Tell me. U square
sin square theta by 2g.
sin square theta by 2g. इसको मान लो u1 theta 1 is equal to u2 square sin square theta 2 by 2g. So 2g cancel. So that means if I square भी cancel हो जाएगा पूरा. So u1 sin theta 1 is equal to u2 sin theta 2, right? Now he's talking about time of flight, right? Time of flight का formula क्या है first one? 2u sin
2u
theta
sin theta 1
by
g.
g, right? So u1 sin theta 1 and second part का 2u2 sin theta 2 by g. Now देखो use u1 sin theta 1 equal u2 sin theta 2, so time of flight is same, so इसका answer is right. T1 is equal to T2. Okay. गेस मत करो बट मीनिंग देखो इसका आइडिया आने का देखने में. अरे मैक्सिमम हाइट सेम बोल के इक्वल कर.
So time of flight will be same.
हाँ ओके बट ये क्वेश्चन इधर उधर दिया तो भी हम लोग को आइडिया नहीं आएगा, मैक्सिमम हाइट इज सेम बोल के आइडिया आने का. ओके ऑपरेटर तो नेक्स्ट भी करेंगे, हो जाएगा. 3 वेरिएबल्स देन न्यूमेरिकल्स पूरा करने वाला है. चलो नाउ नेक्स्ट वन इज हॉरिजॉन्टल रेंज. रेंज मींस क्या है? द हॉरिजॉन्टल डिस्टेंस ट्रैवल बाय बॉडी ड्यूरिंग द टाइम ऑफ फ्लाइट. ड्यूरिंग द टाइम ऑफ फ्लाइट मतलब टोटल टाइम में कितना हॉरिजॉन्टल डिस्टेंस ट्रैवल किया, दैट इज कॉल्ड रेंज. ओके मतलब इनडायरेक्टली इधर से स्टार्ट हुआ जाके गिरा, राइट, एंगल थीटा में y and x. So this horizontal distance traveled in time of flight, this is called as range. Okay, this इधर से इधर तक पूरा horizontal distance कितना travel किया, that is called range. Now we will take x direction or y direction, tell me. Because horizontal distance traveled, right, x direction लेके we will find sx find करेंगे, हो जाएगा. Okay, so x direction ले लो. In range भी we will take x direction. Now tell me what is ux is how much in the main diagram में first formula में? ux is
U cos theta.
u cos theta. Okay, and sx means nothing but r. We have to find that only. This only we have to find. And time is time of flight. And time of flight का formula 2u sin theta by g. ये time में only we have to find distance क्या traveled. Okay, that's why time of flight का formula इधर इसमें भी use होगा अभी. Okay, and what ax is 0. Now apply equation of motion and solve for r. So since s is there, u is there, t is there, so s equal to ut plus half it square. So sx, ux, ax. So sx is r is equal to ux is u cos theta into t is time of flight 2u sin theta by g. एंड ये वाला क्या है, ax तो 0 हो जाएगा, ये पूरा 0 हो जाएगा, राइट. हाँ, नाउ कितना होगा, r इज इक्वल टू 2u स्क्वेयर sin theta into cos theta by g. Okay, what is 2 sin theta cos theta? 2 sin theta cos theta famous maths में
Sin 2a, I think.
sin 2 theta, right? So u square sin 2 theta by g. Okay, u square sin 2 theta by g. You can remember range means nothing but 2 theta रहेगा, 2 theta will be there. Okay, and sometimes splitting भी आने का, sin 2 theta का formula भी learn करो, sometimes angle में problem हो जाएगा. 2 theta is 2 sin theta cos theta. This one you have to know, simplify करना पड़ेगा. So this is a range formula. In the normal, if you use in 2 dimension, I can write like this also: 2 into ux into uy by g. Ux is u cos theta, u sin theta, u into u square, sin 2 sin theta cos theta sin theta. This one. Sometimes directly ux दे देगा 2 meters per second, uy भी देगा 3 meters per second. That time range find करो बोले तो use this formula. Without angle theta, we can use these formulas. तो ये 3 फॉर्मुलास आपको लर्न करना पड़ेगा. डन ना. सो इसका फॉर्मुलास से रिलेटेड सम मोर क्वेश्चंस करने वाला है एंड सम मोर कॉन्सेप्ट्स आर देयर, वो हम लोग नेक्स्ट क्लास में करने वाला है.
Okay, sir.
Okay.